Hello, my friends. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It is Monday, the 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what that means. You know what that means. That means it's time for another episode of The Palaver.
Yay.
And I'm so happy to be talking to my good friend, MrCraftyKiller today. How's it going?
Hello. It's going good. I need to remember to point that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you the way you just pointed, you were pointing away from me. So you actually
I can
yes.
point that way then. Yeah.
Yes.
I was
now
pointing
you're
your
pointing.
way on. Yeah.
So now I'm pointing at
Hey.
you. But yeah. Thank you so much for being on. This is the second week
Thank
in
you
a
very
row
much.
I've got a Scotsman as my guest.
Well, you need to get the third one on next week when win by KO, isn't it?
Well, I got win by KO. I can always contact Ryan WK. I should do that. Just like a
get
solid
all of them,
month
yeah.
of Scotsman, you know, burly.
Scottish.
manly.
The Scottish month, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say burly about me because I'm like a lamppost.
You know, look.
I'm ginger though. I've got the ginger.
That's true. That's true. We were actually just what I'm gonna call you MC Kid. No, what should
just
I
say
call
C.
you?
I mean, it depends what you want because you CM, Craig, Crafty, whatever.
I'm gonna say
everything.
Crafty. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Crafty and I were talking right before the camera went live, and he was noticing something as he was looking into his camera. You want to share with everyone at home what you noticed?
Oh, I'm sunburned. Yeah, being it wasn't even like that sunny here. It was like maybe 17 degrees, and it was a little bit sunny. And I walked on the way to work. I got burnt walking on the way to work. That was like a 5-minute walk. Yeah, it just shows me.
My wife is the same way though. Like I said, she was a ginger. Her skin is just totally pale, and she had red hair up until a couple of years ago. But she'll be in the sun for like 5 minutes if she doesn't have a wide brimmed hat on, sunscreen on her nose. If she's just not covered, just sunburn in minutes.
Yeah, I'm the same, and I don't listen. Like I literally will get told put sunscreen on. I'm like, nah, I'll be fine this time. Come back, and it's like the ice cream you get where it's like strawberry, then vanilla. There's that line where you know straight away. It's like that's where the top was today. It's exactly what happens every time.
Thank you very much to Brother Rock for coming in with the raid. Hope you enjoy the show. Those of you who are just joining us from Rock and Rage's channel, I'm of course talking to MrCraftyKiller. You can find it twitch.tv/MrCraftyKiller.
Oh.
One of, so
I didn't even know
I think I mentioned this to you, Crafty. You, Volk, and Rock and Rage, the three of you pretty much got me to try Factorio again.
I probably wouldn't say me more much because I'm terrible at the game. I'd probably say the other two, like Rock and Rage and Valk.
I know, because I know I was
who
watching you literally the day that I was installing it.
Oh, that's quite cool. I can remind you were, I think, in one of your streams, and you said in the chat, it's like, oh, I'm going to be trying a new game out, and you said to me, it's like, you probably will like this game, and the whole time I'm thinking, oh, is it Stellaris? Is it this? Is it that? I'm getting excited, and no point I'm like, oh, maybe Factorio. I was like, oh my god, it's Factorio. It took me 2 weeks to realize after you'd been playing for about a week, and then I just burst out, and when your stream went out, I just burst out. I was like, oh my god, this was the game, and you're like, what are you on about? It's like I just remembered 2 weeks later. I was like, this is it.
Yeah, it was because here's the thing. So this is the thing that always annoyed me about Factorio is I couldn't quite. It doesn't have a really sharp learning curve, but it's got a massive first step learning curve, and then once you're over that first step, it's all pretty. You know,
it's like once you get the first two sciences made, you kind of realize how the game goes. But it's unless you do the tutorials or watch like live streams and videos, and you don't really know how to do that. You just get kind of told you've crashed on a planet. There's ores. Do something. You don't really get told much apart from that.
Right. Oh, and Drunk Irish Potato too. He was another one of the people that I was watching play it a lot, and he was always rocking out the '80s music, which I love. So. But I couldn't get it. I tried streaming it twice before in the past, like once in 2016, once in 2017, and both of those times I'm like, but the thing that bothered me was like, I knew I should like this game.
Yeah, it's one of, like, I had someone actually just before you hosted me today. I had someone in the chat saying, "Look, I don't know if I should get this game, but people are saying it's good. Would I want it?" And I sat for maybe half an hour just explaining the game and then saying, "Well, this is the good things about it. This can be some of the bad things." Was showing just general explanations of what the game was, and then the chat was helping as well. And eventually, I went, "I'm going to buy this game. I like the sound of this game." And he went and bought the game, and it was like, I never heard from that person after that. It was like, they're playing the game now. They're playing that.
I don't know. Oh, you ready? I'll tell you something that a lot of people don't know that I haven't talked about. I almost didn't buy the game because the first time I streamed it, I was just playing the demo back in 2016, and I got in touch with the developers. And at this point, I'd already had some history with other developers and doing. Give me 1 second. I'm noticing I'm dropping some frames here.
Okay.
I just want to make sure my connection is still live. I just dropped into the red.
Oh. I had that earlier on today, but then I realized that was because I passed a host over and I was still streaming after.
Anyways, so, yeah, Inner says we're still good. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I contacted the developers, and they had lists like, if you're a streamer or a YouTuber or a mixer, blah, 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 here's what you need in order to make a requirement to receive a free copy of the game. So I was like, this close for their Twitch requirements, but not quite.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, on Mixer. And I was way off on YouTube. Like, way off on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I sent them a message, and I said, listen, at the time I was streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer, which was called Beam at the time.
Yeah.
All simultaneously. And on top of that, I was the only reviewer for a group on Steam, a community on Steam that had like 585,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's quite big, yeah.
Yeah. So I sent them
that's got some weight in it, yeah.
I said, like, here's all my things, blah, 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 blah. You know, I would like a free copy. I'll be live streaming it to YouTube, Twitch, and Beam. I'll be writing a review, you know, so on and so forth. I got an email back that was obviously a form email that just said, your YouTube numbers do not meet our minimum requirements. Thank you. Sorry. And that was it.
Was that they wanted you to have all of them at once?
No,
it was just checking YouTube, yeah.
They just looked at the very first thing, which was YouTube, and then they stopped looking.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, but I'm like 30 people off from what they wanted on Twitch.
That's so annoying if it's that. I know they do a lot of things like they've publicly said they will never do a sale on Factorial just because they're like, we don't want I can see why they would do it and wouldn't do it. And it's like, we don't want the people who have already bought the game at full price to feel left out because there was a sale. We don't want people, if we do like half price, we don't want tons of people buying the game who probably wouldn't like the game. They're only buying it because it's cheap. And they were like, we don't want people to do that, so we'll never do a sale, which is, I can kind of see why they would do that, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who can't buy it unless it's on sale, and I totally understand those people as well.
Well, I just want to address what Innertooth just said. He said, you don't want to have a free copy from the devs of Factorio. Support them and buy it. Yeah, you have to understand, though, this was like a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? Like, my point where I was going with that was that left a really sour taste in my mouth, which I think also impacted my willingness to try it again and play it again, you know, and which is why I didn't play it for a year and a half. Yeah. And I only just picked it back up for this month.
Yeah, I can totally see how that would put a bad taste in your mouth. Just like, well, the developers weren't nice, so why would I want to help their game kind of thing? But then it's one of those, like, when you realise it was just maybe they're just keeping, because the thing about the sale where it's like they're never going to do a sale, so maybe it was a case of we're never going to go below the bar regardless of that. Because it's like, if you go below the bar this far, why not a little bit further? I don't know if that's their standpoint on it.
Yeah, I mean, in any regard, it did leave a sour taste in my mouth. It's one of the reasons why I didn't really want to go back to it, but I'm so glad I did. And it was because of the community. I mean, the people who showed up in chat and helped me out and, oh, no, you've got to turn that belt to the left if you want to sideload it, or, hey, try using a splitter there.
I had the same as well. I had so much of that. Like, I probably wouldn't be streaming Factorio if it wasn't for the community, and that was actually how I found this community as well. Was I think it was Christmas holidays, I thought, oh, I've got a wee bit of time from uni, I'll stream some Factorio. And then I was realizing, oh yeah, I can host other people. I'll just do that. And I think I hosted Board Vault twice. And on the second one, I just thought, well, I'm going to actually sit down and watch her play for a bit. And I thought, quite like this. And then she streamed over, she hosted over to you as well. And I was like, you're playing Stellaris. I fucking love Stellaris. It's like, this is one of my favorite games. I've just had Factorio, which is one of my favorite games. Then Stellaris was my other. I was like, what is this community they keep pushing? I want to see what this community is. And that's how I ended up getting in.
Well, I got
that's
news
how
for
I'm still
you.
streaming. Yeah.
I got news for you. Right now, I'm thinking Stellaris is my game next month.
Is this with the DLCs? With all the villains?
Yeah. Well, like I don't have some of them, like the humanoid pack.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
You know, but I've got Apocalypse, which is the most recent one.
Have you tried that one?
Yeah, it's the newest one.
Yeah, that's because that changes the game quite a bit. I tried it myself. There's some things I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah.
Well, I haven't played it in a few months, and they did a massive change to the way that they do several things in it, like the way armies work, and
they
changed doom stacking. So it's going to be kind of a new game to me, anyways.
Yeah. I wouldn't explain any of the stuff, but that was Okay, I think I just seen what it was.
It's been 10 minutes, and I've been sitting here staring at this the whole time. I think we've given enough time for anyone who was planning on getting in here to get in here.
Yeah.
Okay? Would you like to explain to everyone what it is that I am holding in my hands and why this is important?
So, you're holding Iron Brew. This is one of the liquid golds of Scotland. Now, before we get any more into it, I want you to look at this bit here and tell me what your sugar content is on it, because you might have one that's much better than mine.
Sugar content is 52 grams.
You're holding liquid gold dust right there. That is the better one. So they done a weird thing because there's a sugar tax in the UK. They changed the sugar from natural sugar, which is what you've got, to artificial, so there's less of it. That tastes a lot sweeter and nicer. This tastes close, but it's not as good. So you've got, like, the import stuff is the rarer stuff. So we were discussing about prices, and now I can say that was worth it.
It was worth it. I mean, listen.
It's so expensive,
I can't imagine this is going to be so life-changing and epic that I'm going to be buying it at the price this costs for me. This is not cheap for an American to buy.
Yeah.
But
that's not cheap for here either.
No.
That's expensive as well.
All right, here we go. Yeah, it's like £2. I paid like £2 a bottle for this for 500 milliliters. You're
pretty much double what I'm getting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, hold on. First, okay, it's got a very. Wow, that is weird.
After you explain your taste, I'll say what it is.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a citrusy smell, but not much. It's not really citrusy. It's like it's citrusy the same way like orange flavored cough syrup is citrusy. Yeah. Okay? All right, here we go.
Okay. Very fizzy, you'll notice.
Oh.
Yep, it's different to most things. It's very different to most things.
That is different than most things. Okay. So it's a
bad taste.
It's a little bit orange tasting. It's a little bit citrusy, but not real citrus. It definitely doesn't taste like. So, for example, in America, we've got like Faygo or Shasta are like these colas that make fruit, like, or, you know, these companies that make like a fruit soda. This doesn't taste like a fruit. It's got.
It tastes like something very sugary and a bit chemically. Yeah.
Mm.
It's like trying to explain what does cola taste like. Like cola tastes like cola. Iron Brew kind of just tastes like Iron Brew. There's nothing close to it.
Okay, here's what it tastes like. Now, I don't know if this is in Scotland, so this might be for my American viewers.
Okay.
When you're a little kid in the summertime, we have these things called Frizzy Pops, and they're plastic tubes with colored liquid in them, basically colored water.
I used to love them as a kid as well.
Yeah, you throw them in your freezer, and then you take them out, and you snip the top off, and you push it up, and
And you usually end up cutting yourself on them because they're,
yeah, the sides of your mouth.
Yeah,
this tastes kind of like a bubbly, fizzy version of the orange Frizzy Pop with a hint of ginger. There you go.
Yeah, to be honest, that's better than the explanation I was going to say. So the logo, the slogan that used to always go with Iron Brew was Iron Brew is made from girders. If you know what a girder, yeah. And they used to always have a bit here where it would be showing the fourth rail bridge. So that used to be on as well, saying made from girders, and they'd always show that bridge. So that was always a slogan saying that's what it tastes like.
Okay.
I can never really explain what it tastes like. Like, you got it better than me there. Like, I'd say it's like a fizzy orange-ishy kind of thing. It's like trying to explain what Coca-Cola tastes like. It's like, it tastes like cola. What does cola taste like? Cola. There's nothing more you can explain that to.
So Sammy says, I've always heard there's a rose flavor to it. Is there any hint of a rose? There's definitely a sort of a floral bouquet. I wouldn't say rose. When I say rose, when you say rose, I'm thinking like rose water. It's definitely got a very floral bouquet to it, especially in the smell. But
what's it? I'm trying to remember what it is.
I'm really just getting overwhelmingly like that chemically orange fake orange icy pop flavor with hints of ginger, and it's very bubbly. Like if I were to go get a Diet Coke, it wouldn't be quite as carbonated as this one.
It's very fizzy. This, like, you cannot shake these and you cannot drink them fast, or else you will regret doing that. I also may be cheating, and I'm quickly checking the ingredients as well to see if any of this is. I'm seeing a lot of things like sugar.
I will say this. Actually, the fact that it's very carbonated, I think might be part of the appeal of it, because every time I take a drink, I feel it really fizzing up in my mouth, and you almost get a smell as much as you get a taste.
So there's actually, it remembered me, it's Yellow Sunset Dye or something it's called. I think they changed that because it used to be another one which was like illegal in America. So you couldn't actually even import Iron Brew to America because the dye was related to hyperactivity in children and that. So it just used to be illegal to even bring that over to America. So I think they slightly changed some of the stuff as well.
I figured out what the that extra taste is by looking at the ingredients. It says the flavorings include caffeine and quinine, and that's what I'm tasting.
I can't even tell you what quinine is. Yeah.
I can't stop burping.
That's why I didn't want to drink much of it, because I'm like, it's late, it's really late here, so I need to sleep. And talking the rest of the thing, yesterday I drank some Iron Brew when I was streaming. That was a mistake. I was like hiccuping and burping the full like 3 hours after. I was like, what did I do to myself? Yeah, so
quinine is a medication used to treat malaria, but it was first isolated from the bark of the chicona tree, and bark extracts have been used to treat malaria since at least 1632. But that being said, I know that I've had quinine as sort of a flavoring agent before, and that is what I'm getting a lot of.
So what you're saying is I could go to where malaria is and I'll just be immune because I drink a lot of that stuff.
I'm not saying that at all. I drink more
than I should, yeah.
I would not suggest... Listen, to anyone watching on Twitch, if you're going to a country with malaria, get your goddamn vaccines.
Yeah. So if I get parachuted in there, then I can't blame you if I get malaria. That's what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Damn it. I'm seeing how fast you're drinking that. You're going to regret that, fair enough. Like, very soon. Or now.
The bubbles are definitely...
Don't drink Mentos. Whatever you do, you will explode.
I keep burping. I'm trying not to, like, belch on stream, but...
That's
boy,
like I took tiny sips and that was it.
It's really very fizzy.
Yeah. I was saying that I did drink a can of it before it happened. Like, I drank a can about an hour and a half before, and I was like, I've got to make these bubbles stop. So I kind of walked about a bit to, like, shake myself.
Oh, man. I think what I could see myself buying another bottle of this by convincing my friend Bob Birdie that it's, telling him what it is, explaining it to him, and telling him, oh, yeah, there's some sort of challenge that says no one can drink the entire thing without stopping. and just seeing if I can get him to drink the whole thing. And
that's not good. So this is actually, you do normally get it now, but it's the best way to drink Iron Brew isn't from these wee bottles like this. You get glass bottles that are 750 milliliters. Now, the funny thing about them was it was always cheaper to get a glass bottle than it was a little bottle because they used to cost £1. And when you drank the bottle, you give it back to the shop and they'd give you 20p. As long as you had the bottle cap in the bottle, because it was a way of recycling. So they thought, we'll make it naturally for that. So you'd always see kids walking about with these massive bottles, and it's like, those kids are hyper right now when you see them, because it's like that kid, that is like half the size of the kid. And I was one of them, so it's like my teeth kind of slightly show. I'll be honest, yeah, I don't have the best, and that was because of sugar.
Ever since I've been a kid, that is a program that we've had in, so it goes state by state in America. Like, different states have it, other states don't. But New York State is one of the states where you take this bottle back to the recycling center and you get 5 cents.
Yeah, like we don't do it with plastic bottles. I'm not entirely sure if they still do it with the glass, but when I was like 10 years old, 15, but I actually done it.
Hold on a second. Sammy Smalls just asked a question that I need to mull over for a second. If you had to pick an alcohol to mix it with, what would you pick? It would have to be a non-sweet. It'd have to be a bitter or a sour alcohol. So vodka would be safe.
Yeah, vodka would, yeah. I've had vodka with it before, that's alright. It can take the fizz out of it though, so you kind of get this like orangey citrus vodka.
Gin. This would go well with gin. You put... I would mix this 1-to-1 with gin and then garnish it with a slice of orange. I'll bet that would be good.
What would it be called though? So you've got the drink. What's its name? It's very orangey and gingery. It's not going to be something like the Flying Scotsman.
Gin brew? I don't know.
Gin brew.
Iron gin?
Iron gin. Sammy says gin brew as well. Right. So we've heard it here. We've got a new drink that's made, and that's its name.
There you go.
Or one of them.
So 1-to-1 iron brew and gin, good quality gin, please, and garnish with a slice from an orange. And Intertooth says, Dostrev and MrCraftyKiller, what is your most favorite game at the moment and all time over? I'll let my guest go first. Thank you, Jesse Gaming, for the biddies. Big ups to you. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, Jesse Gaming. Oh, yeah. Congratulations to Jesse Gaming for getting affiliate. It was actually during the weekend that he got it. He was watching one of my streams and we passed the host over, and then eventually he got enough viewers after that he met one of his last goals and he finally got that. So I'm saying congratulations on that. I didn't really get to say it after you'd got it. I know we chatted a little bit, but congrats on that. He got it before me.
Well, I'll answer Intertooth. So, there's no way I can say what my favorite game is, because what my favorite game is depends on what sort of a mood I'm in. You know, like Doom 2 was a game that was so formative for me. The same thing with the original Legend of Zelda and the original Metroid on the Nintendo. But then again, a large part of who I am was shaped by my years playing EverQuest. So do I say EverQuest? One of my current favorite games is FTL, Faster Than Light. Like it's impossible for me to say pick one favorite game is. I would say the game that probably changed me the most was EverQuest, though.
Yeah. That's, for me, my all-time favorite game, although I don't play it anymore, would have to be Minecraft, because if it wasn't for that game, I wouldn't have went down the career path I have went down. I wouldn't be streaming either. Like, this whole thing started because a group of me and my friends, when we were like 14, would play and think, oh, that was really funny. We'd either like record it on our terrible phones or cheap software, and then we'd show each other, and then we started realizing there's the thing called YouTube. We started doing that, and then YouTube then turned to Twitch, which you can imagine I was very squeaky voiced back then. Terrible at tech, terrible at all this. Eventually, after the years, it just built up to where it is now, where I'm like, I can actually do this, and I have the time now to do it, and I'm confident enough to do it myself. And there's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't played Minecraft. So I'd have to say that would be my all-time favorite, just because of the amount of stuff it's led to me doing because of current games. Yeah, I don't know, probably Factorio or Squad, one of those two.
It makes a lot of sense. I gotta tell you, dude, listen, please don't hate on me. I can't stand Minecraft.
It's okay. I look at it now and I'm like, oh, I don't stand it that much, but I have like, so I have a wee like figurines and stuff. I get them from my Christmas every year, and I'm like, please stop buying them for me. It's like I haven't played the game in like 3 years. Please stop buying them. I get them constantly.
We did found us through Overwatch. I thought you came in with maybe through Factorio. Yeah. Well, we're in love with Factorio right now.
Yeah, but yeah, like that's how I got in here was Factorio, but Minecraft was what started it all, kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought about putting on a nicer shirt. So I had to substitute teach today, so I had a dress shirt on. Yeah. And when I came home, I was very warm, so I put on a sleeveless shirt. And I thought about putting something nicer on for the podcast, and I was like, I'm comfortable.
I was tempted as like, I'm okay with what I'm wearing with that and that, and I went, it's 1 o'clock at night here. What's going to happen is, it doesn't matter if I get changed, I'm literally going to walk behind that door, it's right behind me. Everything's coming off, and I'm just lying on the bed right next to me the second it's finished. I'm not putting anything nice on because it's going to get crushed.
You know what? That's actually a great thing that brings me to one of the other things I wanted to bring up, especially for anyone who doesn't know Crafty. He has got a really amazing setup. Let me just ask you. So, are you in a closet right now?
It's weird. It's like a mini office, but it's so mini that I can touch all the walls all at once, and I could probably touch the roof if I wanted to at the same time. It's very small.
But you've done something really cool with the little mini office. Yeah. When you got into streaming, you were getting a lot of what, like echo?
I was getting a lot of echo and just noise problems.
So why don't you grab your camera and show everyone what you did and explain? Because I think it's really cool.
Hello, everyone. You come on a wee adventure with me right now. So yeah, I don't mean this close, but basically this is what I've done. You can see a bit of sound cancellation. And then this, if I can get far enough back, I'm going to have to actually back up out of the room now. I'm no longer in the room anymore. I done this. So, sorry about the light, but this is my room. Tiny little room. Hello. I'm no longer in the room right now, as you can see. And then this is what it is. It's all this.
I think that is really cool.
Let me get back up.
Yeah, I'll let you get back up, and I'll just say, I don't know. I think that's really cool. I moved my setup from the den where it was originally when I started streaming to one of the guest bedrooms. And after watching Crafty started showing me pictures of his thing, I went to my wife. I'm like, hey, baby, what if I got some sound insulating tiles? And she's like, you are not sticking foam on my walls.
So there's a fun thing about these. When I set them up, I thought I'll put double-sided sellotape on it. They'll be fine. I bought no more nails just in case something goes wrong. I got 5 minutes in, a panel hit me in the head. It fell clean off the roof, smacked me right in the head. Another panel fell. They're like foam, so they don't hurt, but it's just the fact it's raining panels. So I spent ages getting them all set up. To get all that panels probably cost me about just over £100. So it wasn't expensive, but it wasn't cheap to get. It was definitely took a little bit of deciding whether I want to do this or not, because it was a bit of money getting invested. Oh my god, he's downed it already.
Oh yeah, I downed it. I mean, that was 20 minutes. I'm no pushover when it comes to my soda. I drink it. Although I got to tell you, I can't stop burping now.
You're going to be like that for probably the rest of the podcast. This stuff, like it's the juice that keeps on fizzing, is what it is. It's the gift that keeps on giving with that. But I have fun enough. I have 3 computers in this room as well. I have my gaming one right there, my old gaming one down there, and I have an old server I was given right below me. So if all of them are on at once, this room gets incredibly hot.
Yeah, but you're in Scotland, so you could just crack the window open this much and let in the 3 degrees centigrade air.
The window's wide open right now, and it's getting quite warm because the panels. It's this whole thing of the panels keep heating, which used to be a problem. This used to have no heating whatsoever, so it used to be freezing. Now it's too hot, and I'm like, I can't win. I cannot win in this situation.
Can you get maybe a mini air conditioner, or maybe even just a fan that goes in the window?
I've actually got a little fan just below me, but it's a case of then it introduces more noise problems just because of its that. So I need to get one of the quiet ones, and it's more of a case of every so often I just open that door behind me, rush of cold air comes in, problem solved. So it's just keeping up on that.
And you're scrawny. You're very skinny. So,
Yeah, I'm very tall, but very, very skinny as well.
Intertooth says, I'm sad I can't use an open mic on my stuff because I live in the middle of a town of trucks and cars that are moving down the street here all the time. So a good headset with noise cancellation and a compressor is my go. I'm going to tell you something, Intertooth. You get a good microphone, like a good blue snowball or a good Yeti, you can set that up. Really good. You can set it up so that it doesn't pick up sound, outside of a few feet away.
Yeah, that's what I said with that. I had to. It's still quite loud, but it took me a while to finally find where the sound was getting in. And you get audio software as well. Like, I run all my audio through this little audio software that then I set saying, all right, any noise within these decibels gets taken out, and that gets taken out. It takes a little bit of practice of getting used to what you want to do, but it's possible to filter out the sounds. The sound can be louder than you, but you can filter it out. You may not have the best audio after it, but it improves. Like, it makes a massive difference for how you sound. Like, on my old mics, I used to sound like really high pitched, but my accent and having a deep voice make it quite hard to stream in this room without having software. It makes weird audio distortions, which makes me sound a bit like a demon, which is kind of terrifying.
I mean, I'll just say, whatever you're doing now, I think your audio comes through fantastic. I think it sounds great. And I've gone back and I've watched my VODs, so I'm aware of how I sound. I know that my voice is way higher than what it sounds like in my head.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite. When I hear myself back, I'm like, I sound so much higher pitched than I actually am, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like I've even got a recording that I've kept a clip on my channel where it's like one of the first ones I've done, 2017, 16, something like that. The mic quality is so much different. I'm so much more higher pitched than that compared to I am now, and it's just constant changes. I can
tell you why that is. I know exactly why that is. There's a very scientific reason for that. So sound waves travel through different mediums differently.
Yeah.
They travel through air. It's one of the worst conductors for sound waves is air, right? One of the best is, solid surface. That's why you can, put your ear to a railroad track and hear a train that's like 5 miles away, right? So the same thing is happening inside your head. As you're talking, you're hearing your voice, not only as it goes out, echoes off stuff and comes back to you, but you're hearing it as it travels along your skull. As you're talking, you're making vibrations in your jawline, and they're traveling up into your ear.
Yeah, it's always the odd thing, because I used to be very shy and very self-conscious. I'm always hearing myself back and like, I sound terrible at that, and everyone else is, what are you talking about? You sound fine. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, no, you sound fine. You're just overthinking it. And it's just that constantly. You just I know everyone does it to a certain extent. You always overthink, but yeah.
You do.
Yeah, it's everyone does it. It's not something you can say, oh, I don't do it. It's like everyone does it to a certain extent. Some less than others, some more than others.
Well, I've always said the number one hardest thing about streaming on Twitch is getting the audio balancing right.
Yeah. It's always a changing battle for me. I'm always changing song volumes or my volume or the game volume. There's always something every stream that changes, and it's like, all right, what did I change from that stream? What do I need to change to this stream?
I mean, the one thing is, after doing this for a year and a half, I've kind of got it dialed in to where I like it. Like when I'm doing a Palaver, I set the desktop audio to 16.5. I set mine to -5. I set, and then when I do normal game, I bump mine back up to like -2, and then I drop desktop audio down to -30. Like I just kind of know where it's right now.
Just after experience and practice, you've just nailed it to a T of what you like. Yeah. It's like everything. Eventually I'll get to that point as well. It just takes time.
Dude, I got to tell you, one thing that drives me nuts, though, is some people, and they'll have their audio at different levels where they like it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, fellow Scotsman, Win by KO, love the guy. He's one of my best friends on Twitch, right? So I'm not saying anything bad about him, but his audio mix is very low. So whenever I go to his channel, I have to turn him way up, like on my speakers.
Yeah.
And then I go to someone else's channel, and it's like...
Yeah, there's... A lot of the time when I watch streamers, I always have other stuff going on. So it's always usually I'll have it on one monitor and I'll be maybe watching a YouTube video quietly on that and then work on another. And it's always when you get to the really quiet people, I'm like, oh, I really wish you could pick the audio up, because I can't then hear YouTube, because then you're very quiet and I'm turning YouTube off, and I'm like, I really wish there was a way for me to just manually turn you up. I'm just like, just a little bit up, please.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just everyone has their preferences. Like, it's just headset. Like, Win by KO, funnily enough, we have the exact same headset, which I realized, which is a bit odd. It's like, it's just things like he might like his preferences a bit lower, and might have like mine a bit higher, and everyone's different.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Speaking of that, is your headset closed headset, or does it have open air vents on the sides?
It's all right. So you're gonna see my massive ears. I'm pretty sure it's closed. Yeah, it's closed.
Okay. How long do you stream for when you stream?
About 4 to 5 hours. But in that time, I do take my headset off and I do other stuff.
Okay.
All that. I used to have a much better pair, but they broke, so I use these now.
Well, the only reason I ask is because I was talking to another streamer, and she was saying that when she first started streaming, she was doing 10, 12 hours.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And
Shadow Fox?
Yeah.
Were you there and she was saying she had a pair of good but closed ear headphones, and she had to go to the doctor because one day all of a sudden after her stream, like her ears were just bothering her.
Yeah.
And one day she went like this, and there was blood coming out of her ears. And it's like, ever since then, I'm like, oh, Jesus. But I'm not really worried about it because I never use my headphones when I'm streaming. I use my speakers.
I was going to say, I use my headphones a lot. I use these, but they always sit like far enough away from my ears that there's always like gaps and all that kicking about. So I don't know if that makes a difference.
I mean,
I think it's more
people always ask me, they're like,
yeah.
wait, how do you hear it? How do you have the sound? I'm like, I'm listening to speakers. They're like, I don't hear breakthrough from the speakers. I'm like, yes, I know. I set my audio up a very specific way so that I could have speakers, but they wouldn't hit the mic.
Yeah, that's another problem for me is I have speakers through there, but I don't put them on the table because the table's a wee bit too small. There's actually, I hope you're kind of okay if I tell the story I did during the week there. So, a few people know this, Rock and Rage, or knows this a bit as well. I decided that I was going to buy a 4K monitor. Because one of my small monitor to my side is getting old. It's about 6-7 years old. It's starting to go a wee bit. So I thought I'll buy a 4K monitor. It'd be nice. What I totally didn't realize was when you buy a 4K monitor, make sure you've got two, or be prepared to watch weird things with the resolutions on your monitors go mental. I didn't know about this, so I set it all up, got all nice excited, got that, and I'm like, now the 1080 is a quarter the size of the 4K, and there's no way for me to fix it on Windows 10 unless dropping 4K to the same resolution, which makes it fuzzy. My headaches. I've sat with that thing behind me for the full weekend. I've went for every situation I can. It's in its box. I've went for about 1 billion different ways of saying, if I do this, if I change that, if I do this, if I switch out the monitor for that, if I do that, I'm like, I'm just gonna have to send this back, aren't I? I'm just gonna have to admit I've just made an idiot mistake and bite the bullet.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, I spent so long sitting looking for different reviews, and it was the one thing. Resolutions never went through my mind once. Everything else but resolutions went through.
Dude, I'm sorry to hear that, man. People have said like, oh, okay, so I don't know if you've ever seen Coyote Wildfire's setup. He's got a goddamn.
He's got an amazing setup, yeah.
Yeah, he could launch rockets from his setup.
Yeah.
He's got like his smallest of his 3 monitors is the same size as my main monitor, my main monitor.
Yeah.
And people are like, you should go like 4K, get a widescreen monitor. I'm like, this is what I like. Like, I like this. I might add a third monitor. I'd almost like to add a third monitor that's smaller and put it in portrait mode.
Yeah.
Over here and just put chat on that.
Yeah. I've always had the temptation of putting a monitor at an angle just above this one because there's a small range where I could put the 23-inch at an angle on the wall there and then get the 4K there. That was what I was hoping I could possibly do. But the way things have worked out, I'm going to have to either get a bigger table, which if you've seen a wee quick bit of this room, getting a bigger table is very hard to get for here, or I just bite the bullet, return it, get a 1080 that's a bit better than the ones I've got just now.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Jesse, 3 50-inch monitors, I don't even, like, as it is, when I'm streaming, I'm looking at my main monitor and maybe about a third of my other monitor. Like, I don't even use most of my other monitor is just unused. This
is my imagination of having 3 50-inch monitors. You're playing Counter-Strike. You're there. There's an enemy behind me. He's right there. Boom. That's what I'm imagining. 3 50 inches. You're looking behind you. That's the only way I can see that. I have a 50-inch through my room. That thing, 3 of them in that? Nah. I can't. I don't even think I could even fit 3 50 inches in this room. I think I'd be sitting looking at the wall at this point.
I mean, how far back would you have to be? Like right now, my monitor is what is it? 29-inch monitor, I think. 32, 34. No, this one's whatever. My point is, I'm already 3.5 feet away from my monitor. If this thing was double the size, I'd have to be like sitting against the back wall.
I'd have to be out the room.
Yeah.
I'd literally have to be sitting out my room right now to do that. Like I'm about 1.5 feet away from my 27-inch.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, admittedly, with my other monitor, sometimes when I'm reading chat, if I'm really into something, you'll see me do this and like lean in to read chat. But that's why I was saying I think I'd like to get a small monitor, put it in
on the side, you see the full
mode.
chat. I can see that being very useful because there's been times I've been kicking about lurking in your stream and I see the chat and the chat's just going da 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 like that. It's like I can't keep up with that. Yesterday I had 3 people host me all at once, and I was like, after Brock, he hosted, and then 3 other people done it after. I'm like, I can't keep up with this right now. So the chat's going so fast, I can't keep up with that. And I'm like, I've got big monitors, I'm just not used to it.
You know what, dude? I'm going to tell you something right now. You just get used to it. Whatever speed it moves at, and you get used to it. Like, you know, I mean, I remember when I would stream for 4 hours and I wouldn't have a single person come into my stream.
Yeah, that was last week for me. I had decided, I'm going to stream. I'm going to start getting a schedule done. See what days I can and can't stream. So I streamed every single day for the week, except the Friday where I had the monitor problem. But it was a case of, all right, I'll stream Squad and Ark. 2 games I thought popular. And they weren't popular. Went back to Factorial, went up 20 viewers straight away. And I was like, this is what I like playing. This is what people like watching me playing. I guess I'll play it for a bit. Then I'll change it for another game at some point. But now it's Factorial.
I shoot myself in the foot every month. Every month I switch games. And I have to, man. I have to. I can't play one game. I have to play multiple. Like, if I play one game for too long, I get fucking sick of it and I'll never want to touch it.
I'm the exact same. That's why a couple of weeks ago I was streaming Factorio for a little bit. And it's the same I'm playing just now. I was playing it 5 hours a day for 5 days a week. And I eventually got to the point where it's like, university's starting up. I can't stream as much. I'm not streaming just now. It's that I'm burnt out on Factorial and people want me to play back for Factorial. I'm going to focus on university, put that on the back burner. Thought I could try play another game, but I realized that's what people like me playing. But I'm eventually going to incorporate like Factorial Thursdays or like Squad Fridays, just things that like just change it up so I'm not playing the same game every day. So I can get to slowly play the games that I'd like to try as well as the main games as well. It's just getting that schedule going is what I'm trying to do. I'm in that period of getting things rolling on what's going to be when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of help has came from like you and Coyote, seeing the way you set up, like, today's this day, today's that day. This is how we do it. Yeah.
Well, again, and I'm not, like, I always tell people, you do whatever you want to do. Like, for example, again, going back to Win by KO. I've known him for a little over a year. He just really plays Hearthstone. He doesn't want to play anything else.
Yeah.
That's his game. He loves that game. That's fine. I love watching him play that game. There's nothing wrong with it. If you like just playing that one game, then by all means, play that one game. If you want to play a different game for every day of the week, play, like, first and foremost, you've got to be happy when you're streaming.
Yeah,
right? Like,
if you're not happy, you're not. People don't want to see someone who's just sad or annoyed all the time. You want to see someone who's enjoying themselves, because then usually you feel better about it as well.
Dude, I was having unbelievable numbers playing Darkest Dungeon last month.
I was watching it. You were getting like 70, 80 people at a time. It's like, that's amazing watching that.
There were some days I was ending my streams 90. One day I broke 100 viewers. And that feels great, man. That felt so good. But you want to know something, man? I knew by the end of the month, I'm fucking sick of playing this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets to that point where it's like, I'm doing really well playing this game. It's like with me and Factorio as well. For someone of my size, I was doing amazing view-wise. But I was slowly noticing I wasn't enjoying the game and I wasn't being as energetic as I could be. And I was realizing this is going to affect the way people see my channel. And it's going to be in a way I don't want them to see it. I don't want people to see me just sitting there being not talking, just being down like that, not interacting. I want to be super energetic, interacting constantly, making people want to like watch because they're enjoying it. And when you're not in that mood, you're not in that mood, and if changing a game causes you to be back in it, then yeah, change the game. Some people might not like it, but at the end of the day, they're going to probably prefer you being energetic than just not talking and not interacting much with chat, which is what I found myself doing in some games.
Well, I always look at it like this. So I started streaming on Twitch. Well, I started my Twitch career as a viewer. Like, I was watching other people.
Yeah.
Primarily Kriparian, who streams Hearthstone. And there were days when you could tell he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to play Hearthstone. He didn't want to stream, but he had to. You know, he has to stream 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. He has to. That's the amount of there's a term called golden handcuffs. He was captured by the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
He couldn't afford to not because of how much money he makes. You know?
Yeah, you get locked in case of it's like, I'm not enjoying it that much, but this is my career now, and it's now a case of not everyone enjoys their careers. You just have to make the best of it, and you weigh up the pros and cons of changing game or keeping with what you've got, and so it's a really tough decision. I would never want to really be in that position.
All I know is the first time I started streaming, I thought about all those days I had seen Crip being miserable, and I said, I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to let myself get miserable streaming a game I don't want to stream.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Isn't it? Like, it's odd because I went into streaming not really watching streamers. I only came in because I found out about Twitch, but it was mostly because I enjoyed playing games and then realized some of my friends enjoyed watching the clips that I was showing them via the games I was playing. So I thought, well, I can do it on YouTube. Realized YouTube was a bit too much hassle for it, and I found out about Twitch and thought, if I'm doing something, someone might like the same thing I'm doing. And if someone likes the same thing I'm doing, that's enough encouragement to want to continue streaming. Because at the end of the day, I'm doing what I enjoy. And if someone enjoys watching it, hopefully they'll find what I'm doing and watch it as well. But yeah.
Yeah.
There's an encasement of I enjoy doing this, so I will share it with everyone. So I was hoping maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, I wasn't expecting like, oh, I'm going to be this mega person, I'm going to be that. It was more just, I will have whatever happens, and that's how it's going to happen.
I've said I would like this to be my primary source of income. I'd like to do this full time. Intertooth says, let me just real quick see this, finish this, and then I'll read Intertooth's comment. You know, but at the same time, I'm very realistic about it. I knew getting into it that this was a process that would take years. It's not a overnight success. You hear about some of these people like Shadow Fox who made partner in 8 or 9 months. Yeah. That is that's insane. Yeah. You know, I love Shadow Fox, but it's just not a realistic. You know, it's not
you don't go in there expecting I'm going to be the next this, the next that. Is you're going to be the next you. You're you. You're not them. You do you kind of thing.
Yeah, Intertooth. So to answer your question, he says, I've watched 3 of these chats now, but what's the reason behind it? Just relaxing and talk? Yeah. So palaver is sort of an old West cowboy word that means just friendly chit chat. It's just friendly chit chat. It's I've done some things where I've interviewed game developers. I've done some things where I've talked to people about different conventions and so on and so forth. But generally, it's just me talking to someone I want to talk to, and that's pretty much what the palaver is. There's a much more focused, much more structured podcast I do on Friday nights for Team MZ, which is my oldest community that I'm in. I've been in Team MZ since 2016. And on Friday nights, I run that podcast. And that's a lot more structured and organized and goal-oriented and so on and so forth. But no, my Monday night palaver, it's just hanging out.
Sit down and stuff happens. That sounds like it.
Speaking of which, hello to Mr. Marlin17, who was the Team MZ Streamer of the Week that was on last Friday's podcast. Yeah. So hello, Mr. Marlins. How's it going? That's it. There's really just what the palaver's about. It's just hanging out and chatting with a friend. You know? Yeah. Or meeting someone new. Sometimes I meet a new friend. That's how I met Lassane, believe it or not. This palaver's how I met Lassane. Did you know that?
That's pretty cool. I was going to say, like, so it was actually something I was kind of curious about, and I've never been able to really ask it. How did the proper nerds kind of form? Like, how did that become a thing?
Well, yeah, I'll be happy to answer that. So what happened was I used to be the guild leader of a guild in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and when the guild kind of broke up and a lot of people went their separate ways, I formed a group on Kick Messenger, which is a cell phone app, to keep in touch with some of my favorite people. Eventually, I looked at Discord, and at the time we were calling ourselves the expat, like we just named our group the expats because it was like we were expatriated from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyways. So I said, hey guys, I want to move us over to Discord. I think that this is going to be a much better program. We can use it desktop or mobile and go back and forth. And I went there and I renamed it from Expats to the Proper Nerds. And the reason I did that is because we'd started to invite other people into the group that weren't from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like people that we had been friends with or people that we knew that weren't necessarily part of Star Wars. And so that was fine. Over time, we were just this Discord server of friends that were just talking and chatting and hanging out. And so I really started getting into streaming, and a couple of the other people tried it out, like Loina and Reduxa and Hazmat and Darth Bax, and basically they all tried it out, but they never really took to it. And I kept kicking around this idea. I said, hey, if you guys ever do get into this, we should set something up and use our Discord as our, like, instead of having like private Discord, we can all just have like a group Discord. And and kind of didn't really ever take off, and we rotated through one or two people, and it never really, like, I was really the only one who was really doing it.
Just kind of sat on the back burner kind of thing for a bit.
Yeah, and then I met Lassane because one of my viewers said, dude, I know this woman who would be great on the Palaver, and she just started streaming on Twitch, and I think she'd be really good on your show. So I messaged her and I said, hi, so-and-so said you'd be good on the show. Would you like to come on my podcast and talk about yourself and blah, blah, blah. And so and I guess Lassane had been streaming for like 4 days.
Oh, that's barely anything at all.
Yeah. And so she came on the Palaver and I got to know her, and then I started talking to her. I started watching her streams. She started watching mine. And, and then she's like, she set up her own Discord server, but it wasn't doing anything. Like, nothing was happening with it. So I said, listen, we've tried this a couple times in the past. Do you want to try doing a group thing? So she joined the Proper Nerds. We set up the channels. And then that was the time it finally stuck, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I'd always seen this whole thing about the Proper Nerds, and I was like, it's really cool. But, like, there was a little bit, I'll be honest, I said it, and then you kind of went, wait, what, you didn't know about it? I didn't know about the website for a bit, and then eventually you went, how do you not know about the website? It's literally on every single one of your streams. And I went, I don't know, don't kill me like that. And I'm like, I didn't know about it, and it got me thinking, how did the Proper Nerds form? I was always kind of that curious. I didn't want to like say in a message, oh, hey guys, how did this form? Because I know it's like, this is like a very loaded question to ask. So it's like, if I ever got on like a show like this, if I was on, or like a podcast like this, if I was on anything else, I thought, if it comes up into a thing, then I would ask the question, because I was always curious. And I got the feeling maybe other people were kind of the same, because it's like, there's always points where I was like, oh, maybe at some point when I'm streaming, I'll make a Discord up and I'll do this and I'll do that. I thought, there's a lot of things that would be involved in that. And watching a Discord like this, it's like, there's a lot of overheads that I get the feeling that a lot of people don't realize about. It's like, you've said it before, it's like I'm messaging this many people, or they're messaging that many people. It's like, it's a lot of overhead goes to a Discord, and it's kind of cool watching stuff like that, because then it's a bit of experience of, although it's not first-hand experience, it's learning. It's like, well, this is how this works, and maybe that's how things work properly. So it's like, maybe I'm not ready to start something like that.
Well, I will say this. I unfortunately can't give any more details, but keep an eye on the Discord. Keep an eye on the Proper Nerds Discord. There's going to be some interesting changes coming soon. So there might be some new opportunities opening up and things of that nature. So make sure you're part of the Discord. There's going to be some fun, exciting new things happening in the near future, and that's all I can say.
Yeah, it's cool to see stuff as well. It's like with the Discord as well. It's not always just sitting there saying, all right, we've made the Discord, now we just sit and grow viewers. It's now like, all right, we've got to this stage. What's the next stage? What are we doing now? How are we changing up? So it's always cool to see things. It's like, how is this changing to this and this going to this? And it's
I've long been a believer in the phrase stagnate and die. You know? You've always got to be doing something new. Like, once you get very comfortable with something, that's time to change it. Yeah. You know? Like, obviously there are exceptions. I'm very happy in my marriage, and I'm not going to go out
that's
and
maybe
cheat on
some
my
things you
wife.
don't want to change. Yeah, there's some things it's like, okay, we're good with this. We don't change this. This stays how it is. That changes. This stays. Yeah.
Yeah, you always want to see, like, you always want to be asking yourself, so what can I do to make things better, right?
Yeah.
Like, once you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm comfortable here, then you start looking up, like, okay, now what, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know.
Yeah. There's been things like I've dropped a few messages in Discord where it's been like, hey, I've never done this before. How would this work and how would that work? Because I've got in my head, I've got a roadmap of how my channel's going. I'm like, if things explode and go a different direction, I'm cool with that. But I always want to have an idea of, okay, when we hit this kind of thing, then we'll start doing that. Do that, we'll start doing this. And it's always making sure the next thing is ready to be there. So I don't just get to a point where it's like, okay, now I'm good. Now I'll never change anything on my channel. It's like, but then that's how channels, I might be I might have hit the perfect thing and it might go mental, but then more than likely or not, I might have just, this is the level I'm staying at now. It's like, well, how do I progress to the next level? How do I continue getting better? It's always something I like doing. I like with your pie command, you had a pie command, and I thought, that'd be really cool to have in my channel. So I made the snowball command, like it, but it had little differences where it's like, it would be random things would happen and completely different things along the lines would happen. It's like, things like that. It was like, that was something not I thought of, but it just appeared out of nowhere. And I thought, I really like the idea of this. I think this would be good for me to add. And I think I may have just started the pie command in your chat by accident.
Oh, that's okay. I never mind that. Yeah, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Like the pie command sometimes feels like a lot of work. Like when I've got people that are doing pie wars and they're setting timers so that they know when 5 minutes is, and it's like, I'll just tell them, I'm like, guys, look, I'm not going to read every single pie that's being thrown. Like, there's
a certain point when it comes too busy, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to say all of them because then I'm kind of distracting away from what I'm doing here.
Sorry, James. Sorry.
He drank it all in the space of 20 minutes and has now been regretting it since.
No, actually, I think I'm all burped out. I think it's all good now. But you can always catch it on the VOD. It's about 10 minutes in. I finally say, all right, let's do this. I liked it. I wouldn't buy it again just because of how expensive it was. But if I lived in Scotland, I could see myself drinking it a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. The bigger bottles cost a lot less than the little ones. And it's like, why? Why is that a thing?
Well, that's the way it is here, too, in the U.S. You buy a big bottle of soda, it's cheaper than a little bottle by volume. It is what it is. Well, listen, we are getting close to the end of the stream. Fair. What's up?
That's very close. I just looked at the time. I didn't realize what the time was there. I just jumped ahead.
I always tell people, man, the first 7 minutes takes longer than the next 53. But why don't you, is there anything you want to talk about? Or maybe you want to talk about what's coming up on your stream or your channel or anything of that nature?
Nothing too much that I'm going to say so far. Like, the main thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to reach 250 followers. I don't expect to get that in the next month or so. When I hit that, that's when I'm going to set affiliate, because I'm not an affiliate at all. And I've decided when I hit 250, that's when I know for sure I'll either be streaming properly or streaming's not for me. So
have you gotten the affiliate invite?
Yeah, I got that Christmas time. I've kind of always just had that, and I thought, I've got it. Now I want to feel like I want to prove to myself that I deserve it. And it's always proving to myself is, do I deserve that? And when I hit 250, that's the point where I'll either know I do deserve it or no, this might not be the best for me.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think that's also a very mature, I want to say, I don't know, it seems like a very forward-thinking way of doing it. It's not just like, oh yeah, I got affiliate, boom, I'm affiliate, sub to me right away. It's like, no, hold on, I want to make sure that I've got my ducks in a row, and I've
my main thing was I didn't want to stream for a full week and then nothing for a month and a full week, and I'm like, well, someone might have subscribed in that full week and then there's a month of wasted space, or I don't have any reason in the sense of they're subscribing but they're not getting any little emotes or anything like that. And I want to make sure it's like, right, when I hit that point, I'll either have emotes ready or I won't have emotes ready. And that's stuff like that's deciding factors. So making sure that I'm prepared for the jump.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. It makes a lot of sense. I totally feel you. Well, listen, Crafty, it's been an amazing podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anyone who is watching, please twitch.tv/MrCraftyKiller. Give the guy a follow. It's awesome.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. When you messaged me originally, it was like, oh, this could happen. I was a bit excited. I'm like, I've got to make arrangements for this ahead of time. So
it's fine. But listen, I don't know if you know this or not. Okay, but we always end our stream the same way.
Oh,
hopefully, because it's always the best when the person doesn't know.
And I know how it should be. I didn't check in advance, so I know something happens that I don't know what.
All right. Well, to everyone at home, we're gonna do a thing, then we're gonna say goodnight, and then we're gonna host into someone. Please go over and show the person we host into a little bit of love. And I'll be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock for more gaming. Again, thank you, MrCraftyKiller. So we end the show with giving you the last word.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Rev is logging out of the system.